If you called someone from ancient Jerusalem a Jew in 1000 BCE, they wouldn't know what you were talking about. The word didn't exist yet. Israelite, Israeli, Jew, Hebrew. These four words are not synonyms. They refer to different people, different time periods, and different ideas. Let's untangle them. Four terms, four different meanings. Israelites were the ancient inhabitants of the kingdom of Israel, the people of the Hebrew Bible. Their story unfolds roughly from 1200 BCE through the Babylonian exile in 586 BCE. Israelis are citizens of the modern state of Israel, founded in 1948. Same root word, completely different reference. Over 3,000 years separate these two groups. An Israelite is to an Israeli what an ancient Roman is to a modern Italian. The connection is real, but the label describes a different people in a different world. Confusing them collapses millennia of history into a single word. Now the word Jew. This one surprises people. In 539 BCE, the Persian Empire conquered the region and created an administrative province called Yehud, the area around Jerusalem. Israelites who had been exiled to Babylon returned and settled in this province. As residents of Yehud, they became known as Yehudites, a geographic label like calling someone a New Yorker. Over centuries, Yehudite evolved into the word Jew. The critical point, this was originally about where you lived, not who you were ethnically. The ethnic meaning developed later. So calling Abraham or Moses a Jew is an anachronism. Those figures lived centuries before the Persian province of Yehud existed. The word literally could not have applied to them. Hebrew is the simplest of the four. It's primarily a linguistic term. It describes people who speak the Hebrew language. It functions as a social ethnic designation rooted in that shared language. You can be an Israelite who speaks Hebrew, but the two words aren't interchangeable. Israelite describes your political and tribal identity. Hebrew describes your linguistic community. Think of it this way. Not every English speaker is English, and not every Hebrew speaker was an Israelite. Now that we know what these terms mean, let's look at how early Israel worked, because it wasn't anything like a modern nation. Forget the image of a unified kingdom with a capital city and a central government. That came much later. Early Israel was a loose alliance of tribes, each controlling its own territory, each governing itself. Each tribe had clan elders, senior leaders who served as judges and decision makers. They dispensed justice, managed resources, and handled welfare within their own group. What held these tribes together? Two things. First, shared worship of Yahweh, though perhaps not exclusively. And these tribes likely practiced other religious rituals alongside Yahweh worship. Second, loose mutual defense obligations. If one tribe faced attack, others might help. The key word is might. The book of Joshua presents an idealized picture of all tribes conquering Canaan together, but the book of Judges tells a different story. Sporadic cooperation, one or two tribes acting together at most. Full tribal unity was the exception, not the rule. Here's where it gets interesting. The Bible consistently lists 12 tribes of Israel, but the lists don't always match. The oldest list, from Genesis, names the 12 sons of Jacob, Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, and so on, with Joseph and Benjamin as Rachel's two sons. 12 total. Later lists in Numbers and Joshua changed the lineup. Levi drops out. The Levites became a priestly class with no territorial land allotment. To keep the count at 12, Joseph splits into two tribes named after his sons, Ephraim and Manasseh. Levi out, Ephraim and Manasseh in, still 12. The number 12 was symbolically maintained through deliberate substitution. Scholars agree the actual number and composition of tribes likely varied over time. One more piece of evidence for this decentralized picture, the Ark of the Covenant. The Ark didn't sit in one place. It circulated among different tribal territories before eventually settling at Shiloh in the territory of Ephraim. A unified nation builds a permanent capital, and keeps its most sacred object there. Early Israel did neither. The Ark's movement reflects a people without a fixed central authority. With all of this in mind, how do you use these terms correctly? Here's a simple guide. Talking about people in the ancient kingdom, Israelites, citizens of the modern state founded in 1948. Israelis, people connected to the province of Yehud after the late 6th century BCE. Jews, the language or its speakers as a social group. Hebrews, context and the time period matter. Next time you read a biblical text or a news article, notice which term is being used. Ask yourself, does it match the time period? You'll be surprised how often it doesn't. These terms carry deep significance for living communities today. Historical precision honors that significance. 3 takeaways. These 4 terms are not interchangeable. The word Jew didn't exist before the Persian period, and early Israel was a tribal alliance, not a unified state.